Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Not Your Asian Women podcast. I'm Christine Chang.
I'm Shining.
I want to give a quick shout out to Slap Muan Chicken Wings. They're located in Long Beach, and they're also on Sundays at downtown LA Smorgasbord. If you like chicken wings, I was never a chicken wings person. I was never like, let's go get chicken wings. These are Cambodian chicken wings. If you like lemongrass, the flavor of lemongrass. It's very hard to find good lemongrass flavor in the States. These wings are phenomenal. Pete and I will drive all the way down to Long Beach. It's like a 40-minute drive for us just to get these chicken wings. And this is not sponsored, by the way. I genuinely love these chicken wings. And also, my mom was born and raised in Cambodia. So, Shlap Muan, next time we come in, if you want to give us some free chicken wings, I would love
We don't
it.
mind to get sponsored.
But if not, I hate when they do something and they expect you to do something back.
Like influencers.
Right? Like I'm not doing this and I don't expect free chicken wings. I genuinely like to support small businesses that I love, but I hate that entitlement of, oh, I did this for you. What are you going to do for me?
Yeah, that's a little absurd. I've heard few news back when influencers would call hotels or restaurants for a free deal. I'm like 5,000 followers. Like, get the fuck out of here. Shit.
It's so annoying. I think it's also how you present it to them. I think if it comes off as like, I'm doing you a favor, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. But if it's just, you're just laying out like, oh, hey, is there any benefit to you if I were to, then I think it would land better.
Yeah, it's all about the attitude.
It totally is the attitude. We talked about that earlier, about the woman who just parked in the middle of the road. I think she was making a food delivery or something. And I was getting annoyed because no cars could turn because she just stopped the car. And she said, it's only 2 minutes. And to me, I'm like, dude, you're holding up all this traffic for you when you could easily pull up and maybe get out of the way. Or if your attitude was more
like, oh, I'm sorry.
considerate.
Yeah, I'll be in and out quick. This is emergency. Then, I'm okay with it. But if she's giving me attitude like, oh, it's only 2 minutes. Even if I was okay with it, I'm like, okay, no, bitch.
Absolutely. It's the attitude.
Don't try me. Like, we are nice until we're not.
Totally. Did you enjoy hot pot last night?
Oh, yeah. We went to this hot pot place.
All you can eat.
All you can eat. They self-claimed as the best hot pot in L.A. I was like, all right. That's a lot of claims. But to be honest, the shabu, yeah. The meat quality was really good.
It was good. It was very clean. The buffet stuff was really clean. I don't like when the buffet stuff you could just tell the quality's not great. It's kind of sloppy. It was very clean. I like that it wasn't overly salty.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know about the best hot pot.
No, it wasn't the best.
But I don't think
it was enough.
Yeah, it was good. It was average. Yeah,
it was enough. But we were saying at first we didn't want to get it kind of vain, So hot pot can be very bloating. So I try not to eat like too salty things in between filming because for me it shows in my face a lot. And then we ended up going to hot pot because we were craving like, what do you want to eat? This looks good.
That's why I crave shabu sometimes because the Chinese hot pot broth can be heavy.
It's super heavy, and I
the
noticed
chili oil. You can't trust your farts afterwards. Shabu is only like
it's cleaner.
Soy,
yeah,
sauce, seaweed.
Yeah, sometimes with Chinese hot pot, I notice the sodium like in my hands, like my fingers after. This cannot be good for you, but the taste is so good to me. That kind of spice, I love it.
I know. Why like junk food tastes so good?
Yeah.
Shit. Like drugs.
Well, today we have a request from a lot of people to talk more about friendship and growing apart from friends. I don't think we acknowledge the sadness and the healing and the mourning enough when you grow apart from friends. And the older I get, I kind of notice when there's big life changes or like almost like with the decades, like 30, 40, when you're making those big life decisions and when your priorities change. At least for me, I have grown apart from friends in different chapters in my life, for sure.
Same way. I mentioned I grew up with boys, and now that most of us are married, or some of them even in the second marriage, when you turn into adults, it's hard to maintain that friendship. Even with my homies that I grew up with, like we used to go travel all the time, road trip. We talk now maybe like twice or three times a year. But the thing is, every time we do talk, it's like no time has ever passed.
That's the best.
It's like we went in, like start insulting each other right away.
Those are my favorite friendships.
It is. That's why, like, now that we're older, every time we do have the chance and time to hang out with friends, we treasure every moment. Those are the memories you go to your grave with. And but we went through the period where we had to accept, oh, this isn't your teens or 20s anymore, where you just, go jaywalking in the middle of the night, bar hopping, or go to places and bonfire, and then just time doesn't exist back then. And for me, I came from China. I used to travel back all the time, and all of my friends are still in the same town. We would, hang out. Whenever I went back, they were always there for me. And we would drive to our preschool or playgrounds we used to hang out and just have a great time. And now I go back, it's like we have to schedule lunch ahead of time. That sucks.
It does. It feels so square. Because when you're younger, there's that serendipity. Like, hey, what are you doing? We're heading here. And you can go.
Yeah, like I used to just fucking show up in their door.
Yes.
It's like kick their bedroom door. Their parents will let me in. And like, yo, buddy, let's get the fuck out of here and play.
Yes. That changes, especially after people have kids.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, it's just part of life. And you're not going to always have fun. You have to kind of accept. It's like aging too. We can chase, or we have to look like we're in our 20s. That's just fucking retarded. And that's how like women start looking like, crazy.
Yeah, hanging on to, it's one thing to have a youthful spirit or something like that, but sometimes I see, in LA, they'll say like the Peter Pan guy never wants to grow up, and he's getting close to 50 and he's still that he has to kind of hang out with people in their 20s. I'm like, if you still want to be doing that stuff and most of your friends are prioritizing different things, whether they're in relationship or they have kids or work, then yeah, you're gonna have to hang out with younger people. And if that makes you happy and you're thriving, you do you. I usually find it a little sad though. I'm like, damn,
yeah.
Like, don't you just grow? Not to put it on, like maybe not everyone wants to get married or be in a relationship or have kids. But I guess because I value growth, I'm like, you're still doing the same shit. Like we used to go clubbing I was a club rat, 4 nights a week, like from 18 to maybe like 24. And it was so fun back then. And I remember when I grew apart from those friends that I'm like, like 6 years of this, 4 nights a week, it's a lot. And I'm like, I think I'm good. Like maybe I'll come back once in a while. They're still going hard. And even into their 40s, I'm like, whoa, they love the clubs. Okay. And so not to judge them for that, but I remember exactly the night when I was like, I don't want to hang out with these women anymore. I'm from the Bay Area, so we were in San Francisco, and we went out to dinner, and their approach to life was
YOLO.
No, yeah. Well, more let's find guys who have money, and they'll pay for everything. And I used to like ride along with that. I'm like, okay, I'll just hang out with my girlfriends, and there's a guy, okay, and he picks up the bill. But at a certain point, I realized like this is not my values. It's one thing if the guy is actually friends with us and genuinely we have a relationship. These guys were creepster guys, not attractive. And if they didn't have money, they wouldn't be hanging out, together. So they're hanging out with this guy. We're having dinner, and I'm like, oh God, I thought he was gross. And then after dinner, he paid. I said thanks, and then we went to a 7-Eleven or just to get gum and certain things, and they just start grabbing things and putting it on the counter for him to pay for it, like the attitude.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Cece, you don't want anything? Like I had something. I think I have a water and a gum. He's like, put it there. And I said, no, that's okay. I'll pay for it. And in that moment, I realized I'm like, I have outgrown this. I like, this is not what I want to do in life. Like, I enjoy working. I like generating my own thing. I don't use people for things like that. And shortly after I moved out of the Bay Area, but I'm like, yeah, this is not for me anymore. So I don't really talk to any of those females anymore. I'm just a completely different person. I'm not into the things that they're into.
Yeah, that's true. It just your values grow apart, and it's hard to maintain that friendship if your baseline values don't align at all.
Yeah, I'm like a completely different person, so it just didn't match up anymore.
Yeah, and it's sad. And if he didn't have money, and he might be lonely, and the only way he could have female presence was to pay, then you're kind of taking advantage of this old gross man. Shout out to you, but hey, man, there are other ways. There are other ways to get females.
No, that's the thing with men who pay, because I posted a clip on it recently from my other podcast show up with Christine Chang about a matchmaker came on and said, for the men who request younger women with me, I just make sure they're clear on the reality. She's digging your gold. No younger person's gonna want to choose an older man, unless and that is the reality of it. And a lot of men were saying like, duh, we know that. You don't think we know that? But my point was kind of like, I find it a little sad if they only want you for the money. If there's other things, like your money's tied to success and there's other things and they genuinely love you, that's different. But when you're getting used, I feel like that's low self-worth. It's lazy. I kind of feel bad. Like, I'm like, you're okay with that? What do you think?
I feel if both party understand what the fuck they were doing and intentions were clear, then that's pure transactional. Then I'm okay with. I mentioned I knew a sugar baby back in college, and she knew what she was doing. She wasn't been taken advantage of. She used that money to invest back in herself. She went to school, had her own business, and she paid attention when the sugar daddy took her out with his partners, and so she learned investing. So, and then the sugar daddies knew obviously what she wanted, and they were okay with.
And they get company.
They get company, they get laughters, and those were, valuable things too. And if both party understand, then go for it.
Totally. You do you. I value giving people freedom.
But that's small percentage of people, though.
It is. I think I just feel, maybe because I like depth, it just feels so shallow to me, I guess. But if that's what you're looking for in the moment, cool. I just know I typically don't look for that. And for people who do look for that, I'm typically not close friends with them. You tend to hang out with people, or I do, that kind of have more similar values.
In a way, every relationship is a little bit transactional.
Oh,
even with our marriage. Definitely. We want emotional support. There's things, if you're just fucking useless there, why the fuck would we want to marry you?
No, it's true. Like, they're like unconditional love.
That's bullshit.
Adult relationships are conditional, 100%.
even with parents, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe that bullshit. You want there's something you want in return. Even with mother and their kids, they say that we just want our kids to be happy, healthy. Now, then why you beat my ass when I don't get ass then? Shit.
They want to look good to their friends.
Exactly. Like comparing kids is their sports. It's Asian parents' sports.
Strong coffee company. What do you think?
This is perfect for lazy bitches like me. You can just pour the powders in and put hot water. You wouldn't believe it. My eyes was smaller than this. But after that, I'm awake.
Use code.
Oh, yeah.
What's our code? Not your Asian women at checkout for a nice little discount.
Enjoy your new crack. Peace.
What's the first time you grew apart from a friend or a set of friends? Around what age was that?
I moved to from school to school a lot.
So you're used to making new friends.
Yeah. I was always weird. Was in my own space. So like I naturally will attract weird kids. And I shared this example. I was in preschool or something, or kindergarten. But the teacher set me next to this little boy who, now thinking back, clearly had autism. He was clearly on the spectrum. He would draw turtles on his penis and show it to me. And
What kind of pen?
no. Yo, that's. Oh Lord, you're funny. Doesn't matter.
Well, it does. I mean, Sharpie's different from like a ballpoint.
Maybe, but I don't remember the details now, but that's funny. Yeah, and he would show it to me, and he would scare, like during recess or all the other kids would get scared and run away. And I was the only one that was entertained by that. I was like, wow, goddamn, buddy, that's talent. Like, what else can you do on this thing?
Did you hook up with him?
Nah, we were kids. I didn't even know nothing about nothing.
You end up marrying him.
That would be a good bit. That would be a good bit.
It's Brad.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my early memories of I'm a little different, and I attract weird, goofy shit. Didn't really have trouble adjusting because I was always in my own zone, and then all the friends were kind of little misfit, either the clowns of the class or like back of the school bus type of crew. And so wasn't too hard for me to find weird kids and click with. Besides transferring schools, that was the obvious one that kind of grew apart. And then coming here in America to go to school here, that was really difficult for me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't have my parents. I didn't speak a lick of English. Just straight from Beijing to Atlanta. If I had to do it again, knowing what I know, I don't know if I had the courage to do it now. But back in the day,
you're young.
You're young. Naive. You're clueless, naive. You're like, sure, okay, Atlanta, what's that? Let's go. All I knew about Atlanta was the Olympics. Yeah, that was it. But
so you had to make new friends, and then but all your friends are still back in China, or they came to the States too?
Few of them did, but some were just party friends. You naturally grow apart. And my best friend, she lives not far from me. So I'm really fortunate that I have, we said before, you are lucky if you have one friend that has your back, that you grew up with, and maintain that friendship into adulthood. You're lucky if you have that. So I'm like very fortunate. Now I'm very mature with it. I wish them well, understand that it's natural part of life, but I definitely
Had
went through
feelings.
bitter stage where I was like, fuck that. I don't need you.
I'm
Instead
better
of-
than you.
Yeah, I'm better than you. Loser. Yeah, definitely had hard time to adjust that we didn't see eye to eye on things, or I felt like, why did you lie? Obviously, I knew you said you were gonna, show up to this thing, but you didn't. And I had that, loyalty or ride or die. You're my friend. You're forever my friend. That type of thing. It felt like a betrayal. It felt like you didn't value me as much as I valued you. It's like dating. People don't talk about this enough.
Yeah.
Friendship, betrayal, backstabbing, that hurts as much as I don't know, love interest,
A romantic relationship. Sometimes more.
Sometimes more. It takes a lot longer to recover too. You definitely go through the same mourning stage, and now I'm pretty peaceful. Understand that everybody has shit going on in their life. Maybe it wasn't intentional that they
not
lied.
personal.
It wasn't personal, and it could be many reasons. So to just jump the gun and assume the worst of them was definitely my part of wrong mindset too. Now I understand. But I don't feel the need to reconnect. It's, moved on. And I definitely wish them well. And now I'm in my own thing. And if there's a chance to reconnect, sure. But
Not the same.
not the
though, 'cause
same.
you're
Not
different-
no,
Yeah.
no, not the same. It's like a broken glass. You can glue them together.
Oh,
It's
there's a
still-
Chinese saying about that, isn't there? My mom says it all the time. Or is it the mirror? Like once there's a crack, you could glue it back together, but there's still the crack.
Shit, I'm bad Chinese.
Okay.
I forget, but you'll get the gist. What about you?
So yeah, the first time I remember. Oh, actually, my high school friends, I grew apart from. Like we might still like on Instagram, follow. I don't hang out with them anymore. The clubbing clique, I don't hang out with them anymore just because I outgrew that era in my life. Values were different, and then I think going into my 30s, I think when people start getting into serious relationships and getting married, I used to like the notion of like, this isn't going to change anything. Like a good relationship won't change your friendship dynamic. Everything will be like intertwined and really easy. And I've learned through the years that the reality is when someone does get into a serious relationship, it takes time to invest. You're no longer necessarily number one. People do things differently. But I mean, I always hated when a girlfriend would start dating a guy and fucking just disappear off the planet and then call me when he's like, oh, he's out of town. I have time now. Am I here just to entertain you when he's not in town? If you're not investing and keeping up this friendship, like putting any effort, why would anyone give that back to you? However, if you are investing, then I can understand like the dynamic's going to be different, but you're making some effort, so I will come. And so I was always like, oh yeah, that doesn't work for me. And I made it clear, I'm like, I never want to do that. I understand it takes time, but I never want to make someone feel who I want to genuinely keep the friendship. Because sometimes after people get into relationship, I think maybe some friendships might die off where it's like, oh, it's because I was single and I didn't really have much to do. So I hung out with these people and maybe it's not really important to me anymore. I have some friends who I've spoken to who have been on the receiving end of that. And it could be very hurtful. Like, oh man, like you were important to me. But I do think that changes. So you kind of have to mourn and accept that you're not going to be that person's priority anymore. And have you ever like fought for attention? Just say like your guy friend met a new female and usually you're the number one, right? You're BFFs and all of a sudden his attention and he's changed a little bit because he's attuning to a new person. Have you ever like had cattiness?
Not face to face. Okay. But I
energetically
like vibe was a little off. Then usually I take the cue and then I disappear. And then usually when they like after they break up and then he will call and apologize or things like that. But I mean, as female, I understand a little bit, but and then also now I am a lot more mature. I look at it as, oh, this is his life. I want the best for my friend. And if this is the bitch he really wants to,
yeah.
and then she happens to really can't accept any female friends, then I'll wish them the best. And I'd rather cut this relationship so that he could be happy. So there's a trade-off.
That's pretty mature of you because I feel like most females, it can be in us to be a little competitive or like fight for that.
But I mean,
attention.
Now because I'm older now, I didn't come to this place without struggles. Well, back in the day, I would get angry because it was that I don't feel equal amount of priority. Then I go, fuck you, I don't need you. Because if I had a boyfriend or someone I'm dating and he wasn't okay with who I hang out with, then I drop him like that. Fuck you, I don't need you. I don't need you to control me. Like, well, I don't control you. Like whoever you hang out with, if you have a homegirl that you grew up with and I met her and I can sense the vibe that you are really friends, because come on, we can sense that.
Oh, 100%.
And out there in females, if you say, oh, I didn't know he liked me, fuck you, you fucking lying ass bitch. We can all sense that. We can all sense that if a guy is trying to fuck you or not. Don't be acting like you didn't know. Shit, I couldn't be friends with some bitches like that. Be honest with yourself.
Well, it's selfish too.
Yeah, you think a guy not interested in you will show up in the middle of a night, comfort you, buy you Grubhub? I know a couple of people. I'm not gonna name names, but you know it. Shit, and don't take advantage of that poor boy.
That's the thing.
He has low self-esteem. He's trying to get validation. And you turn around and then say, oh, white boys hurt us and white boys do this. You do the same thing. Shit. All right, that was my rant.
I find male and female relationships, you just have to have very clear boundaries and good awareness too. I do think not everyone can do it. But you have to navigate it too. I think with any relationship, but I think you have to have super good communication and boundaries.
I agree.
With friends of the opposite sex.
With me, like I'm an adult. I understand. Any straight man, straight women, there's a little bit of chemistry, even if with friendship, right? And then biologically, and guys are driven by their dick for sure. They'd fuck a fucking hoe in the wall, of course. Like. If you have a really strong connection with a female friend, obviously you thought about it, but you didn't pursue that for a reason, because you value your friendship more than that, and you had overcome some life shit together, and you outgrown. You're now you control your dick. You understand this is more like a friendship. And also even with female friends, like I obvious, whoever I'm with, it doesn't matter, man, women, I like you. I am attracted to whatever that, you're doing, your passion. That's just natural. And to say, like, there are people out there say that, men and women can't be friends. Grow the fuck up. Control your dick. Shit.
I know
Anyways.
females who can't do it either. I have female friends who can't do it.
Oh, well.
I think that's poor boundaries. I think it's poor boundaries.
Yeah, the way I do it, like if I sense there's others, because boys will push the boundary, will make some, little remarks or like, say some shit. But if I know this is just friends, like I'm not gonna, if it's too much, I'm not gonna be friends with you. And I cut the boundary right there. But if I value the work you do, something that I think there's, we can be friends, and I, say some remarks back, make fun of you, fart in front of your face, or like the way I am with just friends versus romantic partner, I act differently.
Yes.
Like no, like if a guy that I'm sexually interested in, all of a sudden I become a female. If
you drop into your feminine.
Yeah. Like I would giggle. I'd be too shy to talk. But if I come off as, like straight up dude, just start farting and all that, obviously I have zero interest in sleeping with you.
They still have interest in sleeping with you. They're like, this chick is cool.
Yeah. Like that's just the way I am interacting with, like a straight male friends. But obviously there are different ways that you establish your boundary.
Yes. I think to make it clear, I make it very clear, if we're just me friends, there is no way in hell this is ever going to be anything else besides friendship. And I make it very clear. And if they're okay with that, and energetically I can sense, they have the maturity and the emotional maturity to handle that, then we can be friends. It's very few, though. I think it's actually very few men who are able to do that.
Yeah, for sure. And then also there are many layers to friendship and sex, I feel like, or love interest. I feel like it's the lowest form, or like you just want to have like fuck, or just like sex is kind of the lowest form of intimacy. And they are friends, male friends, that I definitely at one point felt there was something, but I would want them, like it's not about me. Like I would want them to succeed in their lives. I really wish them well in their craft, whatever they're pursuing, and then they need a friend that's not self-interest, and then like want to wish them well. I think everybody deserves like a friendship or love, pure love like that. It's like I don't know how I just said a whole bunch of shit that didn't make sense. Okay, you go ahead.
I think people understand what you're trying to say. Yeah, I think there's a mourning process that comes with when you grow apart from friends, or maybe it's a friend and they meet someone new, but romantically, and get into a relationship. You have to mourn that your dynamic, what once was, will no longer be. And some people want to hold on so tight to the old version of that person that they know. But this isn't him. She's changing him. I'm like, he's choosing her, and this is a different, you attune to your partner, right? And I mean, maybe in some certain instances it's a bad choice and she's toxic, whatever. Everyone has like their learning journey. But I think in a lot of cases, it just changed your dynamic. And I think that's what a lot of people don't like, when a friendship dynamic changes because of something like that. I'm like, that's not him anymore. What you have, all the time you spent together, it's going to be different. He's going to be spending probably most of his time with her. And it's a side of him that you don't know anymore. She knows a side of him that you don't. And she's new and you've known him for years, but that's just what it is. And so I think there's a mourning with that happens with that. When I was younger, I remember being like jealous and, and then eventually I learned like, oh, because I flipped it around. I'm like, oh, I'm not number one anymore. I need to respect this woman and not, even if she's like catty with me, don't be catty back. Like, I know who I am. I feel secure in my friendship with this guy. If he doesn't want to talk as much to me because he's in a relationship with you, I totally get it. And it's happened before where, they've pushed a little and then I know I'm like, oh, okay, you do you. And like you said, it's maturing and growing up. Yeah, when people get married, it does change. It does change. Anytime your priorities change, if someone chooses marriage or being a stay-at-home wife or husband or being a parent, if that's their priority now and yours is work, that dynamic is going to change naturally. And that's been happening a lot recently with me, actually, with some friends who have kids. They prioritize, like, their life is the kid. Everything revolves around the kid. And to me, that's not, if something was really important to them, like, hey, can you, come to this thing? I typically don't like to go to the birthday parties or the thing. But if it was a good friend, they said, hey, can you just come to this one? It's important to me. I would say yes. But for the most part, I'm like, why am I here? And most of my friends who are parents understand that. Like, why would you want to be here? It just doesn't make sense. And the conversations are different. You're into, they're into their kids, like what school they're going to. Like, I'm not interested in that, and I understand they're not interested in hearing about, I'm talking about work stuff and pursuing things in like Asian entertainment. And, being a good friend, you listen, but I'm also, I value truth. What's the truth here? Like, I know you don't give a if you could choose, you would not be wanting to talk about this business stuff, right? Your priority is your kid. And I totally get it. That's why moms have mom friends. And so I've grown apart from some friends who have had kids who their life revolves around the kid. I have other friends who have kids, but their kids are more integrated into life. Like, they still have a life outside of it. They still come out. From time to time. It's not just completely like ghosts. Like, this is, it wasn't a complete 180. And for those friends, I still see, I acknowledge like there's a sadness to it because there's that change, but I acknowledge the truth. I'm not going to fake being interested in something if I'm not interested in it. Right. And I accept, I'm like, oh, this is really important to you. And then I have my thing that's important to me. And then what do we do with that? My boundaries, I always thought I had really good boundaries because I'm pretty straightforward if you know me, but I realized I actually had a part of me, I'm working on it, that wants to like be pleasing. And I noticed a few things coming up last year. I'm like, why am I here? I don't even want to be here. Why don't I just say, hey, I'm going to go home. I'm like, I don't want to be here. Your good friends will completely understand that. So I'm like, why did I feel the need to say that, like, okay, or agree to this? And so now I'm going to swing a little the other way. I think I'm very firm right now, kind of like, what do they call it? Very cold, kind of like ice queen. Like, no, you don't come to dinner with us? No, because I don't. I really, like, what do you want? You want me to lie to you? I'm like, I don't want to come to dinner right now. And so I think I'll balance out a little bit and become more warm, like, while still acknowledging my boundary, but just saying, being a little softer with it. But right now, if I don't want to do something, I'm not afraid to communicate that to someone. And then so they can decide what they want to do too about it. Like, this is me. This is where I'm at in life. Where are you at? And we can decide what works for us. That's all you can do.
Yeah, the underlying fact is people change. You like it or not, you have to accept it. And another thing is, this goes against human nature, but it's part of growing up. It's not about you. It's not about you. Not about how you feel, how you don't want to change, how you feel like you are being betrayed. Maybe it's best for your friend to choose different path, different journey, to start his own or her own thing, own group of friends. And if you just get caught up in how that made you feel, you would always get stuck in that bitter, dark space where you think how you feel, how you want things to be is the only way to be. Then good luck with life, because that shit ain't gonna go well for you. You just have to accept and wish them well. Remove how you feel. It is going against human nature, for sure. But that's what makes us better than, I don't know, fucking monkeys? I don't know. And putting in an effort of just, and then also, like you said, the second thing is when you, that goes against human nature, is this urge to want to fit in, peer pressure, don't want to upset or cause inconvenience, because we are a community animal. So we don't want to go to the extreme of, it's all about everybody else. There's definitely a balance. You can't be too egotistic. It's all about how you feel, how you want things to be. Also, you don't want to swing too far to please everybody. Then you lose yourself. They are art of communication, ways to acknowledge your needs, at the same time be polite. And if other party gets a little rowdied up and couldn't accept, then they're not your friends. Your real friends will understand, mature real friends will understand. And also in our age, when we do finally schedule the time to see each other, stop playing your fucking phone. I'm not gonna see you again. That was another thing I wanted to say that really hurted me, because I don't go back to China a lot, and there were friends that I hadn't seen in ages, and I wanted to know. I wanted to hear. She was talking about her kids, her husband, and their, marriage dramas and all that shit. And I was there. I wanted to spend time with her, so I was listening. And by the time I was saying my shit, she started playing with her phone.
That's very rude.
I hadn't feel like that in a long time. It really triggered me. And I was like, kind of like, oh, part of me, like that side of you that you worked so hard to control came out. And I couldn't, I was like, I lost it. And I don't feel bad. It's just, that really hurts. That people don't talk enough about that.
Yeah, you don't feel important. That someone's prioritizing what's on their phone more than what's in front of them.
Yeah, it's wild to require my time and attention and don't give me the same back. It's wild.
For you. Yeah. I have a friend who likes, she's Asian. I don't know if it's a cultural thing too. They love being on their phones. They pick up their phone in the middle of the room. To me, I have a friend who does that, and we always have to correct her. She's like, what's the big deal? It's a part of culture now. People have phones. I said, there's 4 people in this room right now, and you're prioritizing what's on a little monitor over everyone else. It's one thing if a thing like, oh shit, a work thing came up, I'll be right back. But to be looking at shit while there's humans, other humans in the room, for you, seeing your friends once a year now, maybe?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How often do you go back to China?
I hadn't seen her at least 6 years. Mm-hmm. I flew. She didn't live in my hometown. So I went back to China, flew all the way, took my time to see her. And I had limited time in China, and I wanted to spend those time with people I care and love, family and close friends. That really fucking hurts. And I don't know if that makes me a bitter person, but after that, any shit she said or whatever, like, I'm like, okay, you just dropped from inner close circle all the way to the edge.
To the shit circle.
Yeah. Like if she really needed me in the future, I'm definitely going to show up for her. But that is part of a wound that she caused. It will never recover again.
Right. I mean, that is the effort that someone makes. I'm clear. It's happened to me before where I'm the person where I don't want to invest as much as I used to in a friendship. And so I'm clear that you get back what you put in. So if I'm not putting forth a lot of effort, of course I don't expect them to show up for me in any special way. The friendships that I want to keep, I'm very intentional about filling that piggy bank. Make sure, like I care about their feelings and I want to nurture this friendship. And by the way, my circle, close circle, I can count on one hand. As you get older, your time is just limited. So I'm like, who do I want to invest in? And making friends now, because my career is changing, my values, I continue to change, but my tolerance level of who do I want to invest in is shrinking. One of my best friends, April, we met in college, and just because we have such a history, sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, so I'm more tolerant of her quirky behaviors and hers of mine. Like we've been through shit together. I know she's a ride or die. If I were to meet April today, I actually don't know if I would be investing to get to be like, because these things take time too. It's like building a marriage takes so much time and energy, and I notice now, like, I think for me, if I have my core group, it's enough for me. And then you have different groups of friends that serve different purposes. There's work stuff, social stuff, whatever. But I do notice with me, and if you want to make new friends and build friendships, you do have to be understanding, right? And give people a chance. Everyone's going to have quirks. But I think the beauty of getting older is you're more clear on what to tolerate. Like if you're into personal growth and you're healed and someone's still just not taking responsibility, acting out left and right. For me personally, I'm like, oh, that's a no. It just doesn't match, So I do notice all my close friends, we do have the same core values of taking responsibility, valuing growth, making an effort for self-awareness. Everyone has blind spots, and of course there's things everyone's going to miss, but just the desire to question, like, wait, is this me? Like, what's my part in this? Instead of blaming. That's one thing I can't stand. I cannot stand someone just constantly blaming.
Yeah, that's true. Another thing I thought of was if you have like a multiple good friends and say you and a friend had a fallout they're this mutual friend. I've definitely been on both sides. And this is the part of me that I guess two things can be true at the same time. The mature logic side of me understands, okay, so if I had a beef with this friend and the friend our mutual friend that I thought was closer to me than them and chose to be with them or say shit behind my back, that fucking hurts. That hurts. That will immediately drop from
Betrayal. I mean,
betrayal.
It's betrayal.
Yeah.
Right?
I the logic side of me understands, okay, I mean, you do you picked your friend, like you have your own whatever, maybe things that you chose to share with them more, but still a human side of me goes, what the fuck?
It's natural.
It's natural.
To care. It means you care.
Yeah.
Right? If you didn't care, you just zone out. I don't think that then there was no depth in that friendship, or you're lying.
Exactly. You're not that close then. And then because it happened to me recently that and then also I've been in the other party where like I'm like, oh, I don't know, like I like y'all both. You're not like bad people. It just happens that you don't click anymore. I don't want to be, caught in between. This is not my thing. And then that can maybe with also sometimes you didn't choose, you made a choice to somebody that cared you more. It also means betrayal, even if you didn't choose, even if you were trying to play referee, like, oh, you both didn't behave well. Maybe it's true, but when you're in that position and you go, what the fuck, I thought you was close to me. Like, why would you pick their side? What do you mean? Like, I was in the wrong too. Your ego comes out, and then, so I guess, yeah, two things can be true at the same time, and that happened to me. And not gonna lie, part of me feels, okay, I understand, but you're not my close friends anymore. Without picking a side, you made a choice. You think, because for me, like, ride or die means I don't give a fuck, you're in the wrong or right. We're robbing a bank, we're killing a motherfucker, we're getting rid of a body. It doesn't matter. Like, it's that loyalty.
You have that loyalty. I will admit my loyalty is not as strong with that. If I think one of my close friends is doing something wrong, I'll call them out on it. And I'll be like, you're wrong here.
Yeah, but
I won't be like, peace out, but I will say, you are wrong here.
Yeah, for the I mean, for the if it's something like it's, I mean, it never happened, but just say you were in the war, or like some shit hit the fan. It doesn't matter now. It's a survival. And then it does for me. But if somebody starts cheating and stealing shit, I'm like, hey, you can't do that. It's because I love you. I don't want you to get hurt, to go to jail, then just throw your fucking dreams and future away. Then that's a different thing. But yeah, I understand what you're saying. But when it comes to, that's why, like, I like war movies, that like Band of Brothers, and that like male that
guys are better at that, actually.
Yeah, that male friendship, or the camaraderie of it.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, let's go fucking kill these motherfuckers. Your life is on the line. You have to trust your mates. That type of solid friendship is what I'm for. I really like.
Yeah. Well, you said you also grew up with boys. Your mentality is more like boys. And they said, have you heard of the difference between like male friendships and female friendships in general? With the loyalty, just say a guy, has a friend who, he's starting to mature, but his friend always picks fights at bars, and it's always him getting into trouble, and he's like, bro, you need to stop doing this. And then they go out, and then he does it again. He starts a fight. His friend, his guy friend, will still have that loyalty and back him up in the fight, and then get outside and be like, what the fuck were you doing? We talked about this. Stop fucking doing this shit. But he'll still fight with him. Females will be like, peace out. You're doing something. I told you, like, this doesn't work for me. Bye. And I will say that's true for me. If I've talked to someone about something like over and over, because to me it's like my core value, and maybe if she's just different, I'm like, okay, this doesn't work for me. I will not go in there and fight with you if this is a recurring thing and you have no desire to want to change it. Don't pull me into it. So that's me.
I understand both sides. It all depends. It all depends how this friend is, like, if he's a real good person, is just going through some stuff, or there's some like through and through jerks, then obviously I'm not gonna be.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's
so
true.
It all depends on the situation. And what was I talking about?
I cut you off.
No worries. What was I?
Lost a train of thought.
Yeah. Yeah. That loyalty is something, like, I think everybody wish to have. I will say one thing though. Money is important to me. If like between like, if my money is on the line, that will cause me to second. The loyalty, the loyalty will go, go into a doubt real quick.
Yeah, well, money is a big predictor of, like, it could break a lot of relationships, right? And with money, my mom always gave me the piece of advice, like, never like, if you're gonna loan someone money, you have to view it as a gift, and you're not gonna get it back. And that actually has been extremely helpful advice. If I give someone money, I do not expect it back.
But if the other party didn't show any effort of paying, that friendship is gone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's gone. No second time. I will never lend you money again.
Absolutely.
Well, I'll give everybody one chance for sure.
Yeah, it's the attitude. It just comes down to the attitude. Yeah, a couple other things that are like clear deal breakers for me. If I don't know you well and you just start talking shit about someone, I don't trust you. I don't want you in my close circle. And then especially if you act nice to their face, I'm like, that's me. That could be me. Bitch, that shit needs to be earned. My best friends, have been friends for decades, and so maybe we can talk about certain things. If I don't know you well and you automatically start talking shit about someone, absolutely not.
Yeah, people say that female friendship aren't real. They always talk shit behind each other's back. Have you met any male comedians? Since I started doing comedy, bro, the amount of male comedians who would talk shit behind people's back, lot more than any females that I know of. You may not be gay, but you a bitch. Some comedians are bad people for real, and that is my number one sign too. If I just met you, or we only done show a couple of times together, and you start talking a lot of shit behind people's back, oh, that's not funny, that person's not funny, why didn't I get this, you a bitch. That to me is not a good. Granted, they are people who have been in this industry for so long, and it's human nature to have that bitterness. How come, I haven't had this opportunity? Then that's one thing, because we've all been in the bitter and being jealous, feel insecure is human nature. But if that is your identity, and blame everybody else, blame the audience, blame the clubs, blame the fucking comedy scene or whatever, then that's the reason why you hadn't made it. So you can't. I don't know. I lost the train of thought. Well, we'll do part 2 for sure. I'm hoping this episode would relate to a lot of people with friendship and just in general growing apart and maturing, adulting. And all
the
that.
Acceptance is a huge part of it. You just have to accept that things change and they're not going to be what they used to at some point.
Yep.